Rahul Dravid, Kumar Sangakkara, Ricky Ponting, even the great Don Bradman. What one common thing comes to your mind when you first think of these? And it's not just the fact that they're all legends of the game, but it's also that they've all played at number three for their respective countries in Test cricket. You must have guessed it by now that the missing link for India in Test cricket has been India's number three slot. In the sea of India's great walls at number three, like Cheteshwar Pujara, Rahul Dravid, India's number three slot has been sort of a revolving door since Pujara's decline in 2022. Let's look at how exactly it's caused India issues and with data to back it. Now let's talk about the core of the issue. India's constant chopping and changing at number three in the post-Pujara era. Just look at this list. Since 2022, India has tried 9 different batters at three. From veterans like Pujara to debutants like Sai Sudarshan, even Ashwin and Padikkal have walked out at first drop. Gill has been the most backed, 29 innings at 3, but even he averages under 38 and hasn't truly sealed that spot. Compare that to the past. We had one guy, Pujara, holding this position for nearly a decade. 15 innings, 38.76 average, not spectacular, but consistent. Now we have a revolving door. Everyone's been tried: Vihari, Nair, Rahul, Padikkal, and even Kohli filled in once. But none have made it their own. And Sai Sudarshan, just 6 innings so far, but there's something about him. But here's the thing, we can't just keep trying names. We need to back one. Give someone 10 to 15 tests and let them grow. Because right now, the number 3 role feels more like a temporary patch than a permanent fix. The total runs, a raw but revealing stat. England topped the list, and a lot of this comes from Ollie Pope, who has locked that spot for them. New Zealand's high tally is mostly Kane Williamson. Now, India, they've had 59 innings, which is plenty, yet the total runs are lower than 6 other teams. What this tells you is not just inconsistency, but instability. No one's been able to lock it down and deliver across multiple series. It's not just a number, this represents years of musical chairs at one of the most important positions in Test cricket. Batting average adds more weight. Williamson alone lifts New Zealand to the top. For England, Pope may blow hot and cold, but the peaks are high. India, despite being a top tier Test team, averaged just around 31 at 3. Now that's lower than Sri Lanka, South Africa, and even Bangladesh. This isn't just a team stat. It shows how the very important anchor role has been ignored. We talk so much about openers setting the tone and finishers delivering, but the number 3 is the glue, and this average says it's not sticking. Now this is where contenders become champions. Away numbers expose flaws. In home conditions, flat decks can hide a batter's weaknesses, but away from home, against a new ball with little movement or bounce or maybe even spin, there's nowhere to hide. That's why New Zealand and England standing out here is very impressive. For India, a team known for its away success in the last decade, number 3 spot is surprisingly weak in away conditions. Away average tips under 30. And this is after years of Pujara, who had famous blocks in Australia and England. Imagine how much worse it would have been without him. It again raises a tactical question. Do India need a grinder or a stroke player at 3? This stat is underrated. It tells you how often the number 3 gets you into a good position. If your number 3 scores 50 plus every 2.7 innings like New Zealand, you're getting platforms. For India, it's every 4.75 innings. You're basically going 4 to 5 innings for a good knock. And worse, a team like West Indies, it takes 11.2 innings for just 150 plus score. That's not just underperformance, it's systemic failure. This is the most nuanced of the lot. We often celebrate flashy 70s and 80s, but Test cricket is about survival, wearing down bowlers and batting long. And this stat shows that New Zealand's number 3, mostly Williamson, faces over 100 balls per innings. That's at least one full session for that particular batter. For India, just under 60 balls per innings, barely enough to absorb the pressure, let alone control the game. And this isn't just about runs, it's about time. If your number three is back in the pavilion before the 30th over, or maybe even before that, your middle order is always under pressure. The best teams have someone to bat through the toughest phase, and India simply haven't had that since early Pujara. Let's now look at how India's number three has evolved over time. This chart shows the batting average for India at number three from 2014 to 2025. And right away, you can divide this into three phases. 2014 to 19, a period of consistent growth. You can see the average rising from 12.6 in 2014 to 46 in 2019. This was mostly Pujara's golden era: overseas hundreds, marathon innings, and a rock solid presence. 2020 to 2022, a dip and brief recovery. The average drops to 28 in 2021, then bounces back to 39 in 22. India tried others like Vihari, Gill, and Rahane, but no one truly settled. Just 23.4 in 2023, a minor recovery in 24, and now 22 in 25. It reflects the post Pujara vacuum. India hasn't found a reliable successor at number 3. This trend should be deeply worrying. In the recently concluded Anderson Tendulkar Trophy, India tried two different batsmen at number 3 but managed to score only one 50 plus score across 10 innings. Now, that's not exactly ideal in an away series. One name that stands out though, even in limited appearances, is Sai Sudarshan. He may not have big scores just yet, but you can tell he has the tools. Leaves the ball well, reads books, takes notes, seems patient. Very old school test match batter energy. The mistake India now needs to avoid making is chopping and changing too quickly. They just need to stick with one batsman, pack him, give him a long race, and see how it goes. A stable number 3 is rarely flashy, but he's often the reason the flashier players can shine. So when you look at all these numbers, averages, performances, 50 plus scores, runs, India's number 3 spot has quietly become one of the weaker links in their test side. We've had legends like Dravid, Pujara in his prime, but lately it just seems like nobody has been able to grab hold of that number 3 position and make the most of it. The averages are dipping, the runs are falling, the 50s aren't coming, the big scores aren't coming, and this matters because when an opener falls early, all eyes are on the number 3, not just to survive but also to build a solid foundation. And right now, it just seems like that anchor role for India is missing. Whether it's Sai Sudarshan or Karun Nair or somebody new, India will need to solve this puzzle as soon as possible, especially if they are to chase test dominance again. And as we've seen before, when the number 3 is strong, the team usually seems strong too. Thank you.